Morning dove and the sparrows sing through the light that the sun will bring. Reborn. Thoughts are creeping on the wall. Swallowtail heeds a northern call, and the last of the frost will thaw. Reborn. In the warm of the spring, I recall everything once more. Heavy air and the smell of rain, muddy grasses across the plain, red-winged blackbird, soft refrain. Reborn. In the warm of the spring, I recall everything once more. As the winter comes to pass, every one of us is home at last. Every leaf, every blade of grass. Reborn. In the warm of the spring, I recall everything once more. In the light of the sun, everything and everyone reborn. got nowhere to be. Just a slow dance with the summer heat. The world outside can't wait a few. 'Cause right now we got nothing else to do. The sun is peeking through the cotton white blinds. Your hands still tangled up in mine. Feet on the wall, your head on me, floating easy. We got nowhere to be. Got nowhere to be. 우린 이미 너무 먼 길을 너에게로부터 가장 먼 곳 내 마음이 또다시 철없이 널 향하지 않게 Far 한참을 헤매고 찾아왔던 네가 그렇게 반가울 수 있었을까. I don't know what to do. I can't wait for you anymore. 이제 내게 인사를 건네줄게. 너에게로부터 가장 먼 곳 내 마음이 또다시 철없이 널 향하지 않게 Far away.
Welcome back, BPL. We got some playoff action right now. We got Corrupted Guise versus Maron Mallows. This is the first round of the playoffs. We got upper bracket round one. So both of these teams are looking, to try not to drop down the lower bracket, trying to move on to the next round, but only one can. The other one won't.
Yeah, and and then obviously, since we are in the playoffs now, there is no more of the play-in bracket, so there will be a lower round one and a lower round two, etc. For so basically, like if you lose, you still got another chance to make it all the way. So if either Corrupted Guise or Maron Mallows lose this game, you can't count them out. Still, they still got one more shot to whoever loses this game. And I think the really interesting part about this matchup is Corrupted Guise actually got the second pick on which team to pick out of the 4 teams that made it into the play-ins. So this matchup between Corrupted Guise and Maron Mallows means that Corrupted Guise basically chose to pick them. They basically chose to play Maron Mallows first because it was between Maron Mallows and Polaris and Chungus Fungus, and Corrupted Guise were like, yeah, our best shot will be against the Maron Mallows. So do you think there's maybe a certain strategy that Corrupted Guise have against Maron Mallows here?
I mean, that's always a possibility. They just might have a strategy. They might just think that, hey, I think this team has some weaknesses that we know about, or they just have, or the Corrupted Guise has a really good strength in one way and Maron Mallows doesn't. So it could be something like that, but obviously Polaris and Chungus Fungus, they are good teams as well. I think that a lot of, I think Chungus Fungus definitely has a lot of like randomness to it, I would say, with like how good their roster actually is. And players, I think, is overall just a really good team as well. So I think it's hard to go wrong with some of these picks.
Yeah, and we're looking at the lineups now for each team. Guise, the number 1 seed in and I forgot what the bracket I forgot what the team was called. The Ash group. They are the number 1 seed. They did go 6-1, so definitely the top contender in that group for sure. So definitely a very scary team to watch out for. I think especially the DPS line of Dialects and Crybaby has definitely been a pretty big standout for this team. And also I think both Bingdong and Noctara definitely no slouches as well on that support role. And I think both Krabby and Gavin good to sort of round out this team on the tank. So I think overall, I think this is just a very well-rounded team, and I think they have that sort of that sort of hard carry playstyle with their DPS lineup, and I think that's sort of elevated their gameplay to where I think that's sort of how they can be in this first seed position.
I definitely can agree to that as well. But Maron Mallows, they still have a lot of really good players themselves, right? They have the Optical Crash, they have the Wi-Fi. Like, I think those are probably like some of the bigger names of Maron Mallows. They have a pretty good support line too as well. They can either put walkability or yup in, or have Wi-Fi play flex support as well. But yeah, I think that this team also has some really I guess hard carry kind of players as well. I would say players that will always try to make really big plays, and if it works out for them, then they can easily win the game.
Yeah, and I think the big player to watch out for on Maron Mallows is probably V on DPS, because I think even though V is like a main sport player, I think his DPS has definitely been like one of the scariest, in general, just in the league. I think just the amount of hard carry potential he has on like these sort of random characters like Pharah or Reaper even. Like I think that's what Maron Mallows can definitely utilize that. I think that's like their big advantage going into this game. So I think it'll be like sort of I think the DPS matchup will definitely be really interesting to look at. So because I think there's very strong DPS players on both sides here, and we're going into the map, and looks like
chose Nepal.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that Corrupted Guise did pick the first map, since they are the higher seed going into this game. So Nepal is their map pick going into this one. And actually, it does look like there actually is a ringer for the side of Maron Mallows. It looks like Wi-Fi, they're not currently here, so they do have Meester ringing on support.
Trust. I think that's I think it's pretty good. Fair. I like that.
Yeah. And then on the side of Corrupted Guise, it looks like Poya will be in on support with Bing. So Noctar not in quite yet, or maybe he's not here. We'll see what happens later on down the line. But
we got some bans.
Yeah, and then also the hero bans.
Maron Mallows had the first ban here, and they decided to just ban out the Orisa here. I'd say on Nepal, Orisa is a pretty solid ban. I think that just on control in general, I think Orisa is just a pretty good ban. Just a really good tank to just kind of just get rid of. It's pretty good at just living, staying on the point, or just keeping space.
Yeah, and then on Corrupted Guise, it looks like they're banning the Ashe. That's honestly, that's a really interesting ban. I can't say I've seen Ashe being banned before, but I think. I feel like I think Ashe has definitely been very much. I think Ashe has been kind of
been out of it for a little bit.
Yeah, it's been out of the meta, especially compared to playing Frey or Cassidy or Sojourn. Yeah. So I guess we'll see. Yeah, I guess we'll see how. I guess Corrupted Guise sort of play around with that ban.
Yeah, I'm assuming they just. I guess they don't want to play against an Ashe. I don't know what else it would be. Maybe like Bob is like OP now or something. Not sure, but
I mean, yeah, Bob is a pretty good zoning ultimate. So yeah, I mean,
but maybe they got something they know something that we don't. Maybe that's all. But it looks like we are going to be heading into the map of Nepal. The first map that has been chosen, but looks like we're going to be starting on the elephant map.
Yeah, the elephant map, and this is two very different looks here from both sides. Corrupted Guise are going to be actually playing this Malga. I think Malga's not
I've seen
been
a
the
little
most popular
bit
tank for sure. I think comparatively, but I guess with the Orisa ban, Malga is always a pretty solid option. But Maron Mallows, we're going to be seeing Inhagen opting to run that Zarya, and I think the Zarya can actually be pretty good into that Malga, just considering you can sort of bubble off the you can bubble the charge to get Malga's charge to get a lot of energy yourself. So
Especially since Malga has to shoot you to get healing, you know, you just kind of bubble it off.
yeah, exactly. And I do think with Corrupted guys running this more, though, they definitely do want to be going super fast. But I think there's a very interesting look, though, because Crybaby is also on the Soldier, so that's a very interesting look. Optical Crash going to be taking a lot of poke pretty early, and the run in coming in here from Krabby Adam, but will just immediately fall to V, but Dialect's going to be able to get the trade-off onto Optical, but Inhagen on that Zarya going to be able to pick off the Genji. So Maron Mallows looks like they are taking control of this fight for now. It is just a couple players left for Corrupted guys, but looks like they are just going to have to back up now as Maron Mallows is going to be able to get the first cap.
Yeah. When Krabby Adam ran in there, walkability threw down the lamp, everyone just seemed to everyone just lived, and I think Krabby Adam went a little bit too far, and then unfortunately kind of just blew up because of that. But you know, they're really trying to look to play really fast here again with this Moira.
And I think another interesting part about running this Malga is I think Torb actually does a pretty good job of just sort of poking out that Malga, and the Molten Core I think does a really good job of kind of denying a lot of area control with the cage as well. If obviously V can time out the Molten Core too when Krabby Adam uses the cage, but sort of an early engage there onto Inhagen, but the beat from Meester to keep everyone alive. So currently no kills on either side, but we are seeing Dialect's gonna fall first there. Meester gonna be able to get that first pick, but Krabby Adam gonna be able to take down Inhagen actually, and Crybaby with a kill onto Optical Crash. So Corrupted guys sort of turning this fight around in their favor here. It's just the left on the point with the supports, but Meester just gonna get caught by Crybaby, and Corrupted guys will be able to flip the point back in their favor. Maron Mallows is able to get 50% though.
Yeah, they're still going to be finishing off some of these late picks here, but Corrupted guys, you know, they use his coalescence. They moved in really fast. Even with Dilax falling early before they get the coalescence out, I think the amount of pressure the coalescence brought just really was able to make the Corrupted guys go in more. While Malameros, they tried to use some ults, but like it just didn't work out for them.
Yeah, but I do think that this is going to be a very ult-heavy fight from both sides here, because Maron Mallows, they are going to have that window and also the Torbolt, but again, look at Corrupted guys' ultimate pool. They have basically almost every single ultimate. High Noon going to be coming in from Crybaby with the Dragon Blade as well, but Dialect's going to actually get caught up by Optical Crash, but it looks like the amount of damage coming in here from Corrupted guys good to clean up the rest of these players from the side of Maron Mallows. Crybaby going to be able to pick up a couple of kills here on this Cassidy, and only window committed though from the side of Maron Mallows, so not really that bad for their ult pick.
Yeah, Crybaby's been hitting some really nice shots on this Cassidy, getting a lot of the final blows that we've been seeing recently, but Maron Mallows, they've been, even though Dilax did die really early with that blade, still finding that kill and the walkability really just brought them the healing almost to nothing, and they were able to just fall so fast because of it.
Yeah, and I think if you're Maron Mallows here, you really need Inhagen to get a really good grab off here, because the ult pick from Corrupted guys can basically just finish off this fight right now. And if Maron Mallows loses this fight, then that's really bad, but Krabby Adam going to be the first one to fall. Actually, grab going to be committed there from Inhagen. Both supports going to be caught in it, but the sound barrier from Poyo to keep everyone alive, but Bing just going to get overrun through the sound barrier health, and same with Poyo as well. It looks like that maybe the sound barrier overhealth not good enough to keep that backline alive, as Maron Mallows will be able to get the flip off, and Krabby Adam will be swapping over to the Ramatra here.
And both teams used their, or at least Corrupted guys, they used both the support ults for that fight. Maron Mallows, they used Grav and Beat, and Turbo, so both teams used a good bit of ults here. A lot of teams, they don't have a lot going into this fight. Maron Mallows, they have this High Noon that they probably want to look for pretty early in this window as well.
Yeah, and we are seeing, it looks like Corrupted guys just opting to all push in through the left side here, so just looking for a little bit of a brawl. High Noon from Optical Crash, not going to find too much. A flank attempt from Crybaby, but he actually will just die, so that's really bad here for Corrupted guys, because Maron Mallows are already at 95%, so Dialect's going to have to come up absolutely huge with this blade, but Bing able to take down Meester in the blade. Going to be committed there from Dialect's able to take down just the turret, though, and yeah, Krabby Adam going to actually fall there to the end. Looks like Dialect's not going to be able to find much with that Dragon Blade, though, but the follow-up, but we'll be able to get a kill off onto walkability. Dialect's just trying his absolute hardest, and it looks like it is a pretty back and forth fight for now, but looks like both teams just sort of, it's a very scrappy fight right now. just based off of what's happening. And yeah, it looks like Mallows will be able to get the advantage there at the end.
Yeah, unfortunately unable to touch again. But last fight did definitely go back and forth. I think Maron and Mallows, they just kind of were in control for most of that final fight there. I think, like, especially with that crybaby high noon there, like losing that cast pretty early on, not finding any value with that high noon really hurts their damage a lot. They're like big consistent damage. So I think, you know, it was a good valiant play, but obviously it didn't work out that well, unfortunately. But I think Maron Mallows, they played that pretty well into the Malga. They did force the Malga swap there.
And I think that's especially just because, like, maybe Maron Mallows have sort of a read that Cryptic guys want to be trying to run that Malga. Because I think the Torb and the Zarya just works so well on just sort of denying Malga all that damage, especially when he's popping his cardiac as well. And Torb is able to, again, do so much poke from long range, which I think is kind of what you don't want as a Malga. And Krabby Adam taking so much damage, but Meister actually going to be the first one to fall. The damage orb from Bing going to be able to get the first pick off here. So Cryptic guy is now just looking to push in off the back of that kill, but Maron Mallows just opting to just sort of back up here, not looking to lose any more members and just sort of giving up this point to Corrupted guys. But actually it looks like Maron Mallows just, it looks like they were looking to maybe go back in, and it looks like they're trying to do it still. But again, they're just looking to walk in pretty slowly here. Krabby Adam gonna get booped off the map. That's a great play there by Meister to start off this fight here for the side of Maron Mallows. And yeah, Boyo just gonna get chunked down by the Torch turn off the crush, and we'll be getting that final kill. And that was a swift flip there for Maron Mallows.
Corrupted guys, they did get the first cap here with that early pick off of Meister, but Meister definitely redeemed himself after that with the boop off the map with Krabby Adam. But I think, you know, Corrupted guys or Maron Mallows, they're gonna have they're gonna get the lead here from that pretty early on. So
yeah, but Meister taking a ton of poke. Window gonna be committed from walkability, but unable to keep it on the move. Meister getting another boop onto Krabby Adam. That is absolutely massive for Meister. Gonna Ajax the Crybaby. But it looks like at the end of the day, Maron Mallows will be able to win this fight, as looks like Cryptic guys are just sort of looking to maybe poke out a little bit, wait for the team to come back. But oh man, Meister with the heroics into the immediate Ajax. You don't see that very often.
I think Meister was having a little bit of fun there.
Yeah, that's true. You definitely see him spinning the camera around a little bit. High Noon and Molten Core going to be committed though from the side of Maron Mallows, but the High Noon from Crybaby not going to find too much. Same with Optical Crash. Both High Noon's not really getting too many kills here, but looks like Maron Mallows still have pretty decent control of the map so far. Corrupted guys looking to finally walk in now, but Dialect's just going to get hindered and caught, but Inhagen gonna fall, and Meister in a little bit too deep will get picked off by Bing, so Corrupted guys will be able to flip the point back into their favor.
Yeah, those really good. They're still trying to go in and get some of these early picks here, and going in with the Ramatra ults, trying to just find any more, trying to find more picks, try to get more percentage, but they're forced to back up here from that. The rest of the team is back.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Ramatra not finding too much value. The beat coming out here to try to deal with that Graviton Surge, but again, just so much damage from the side of Maron Mallows. Dialect's gonna have to come up absolutely huge with this blade, able to take down one, gonna be slashing on to Inhagen, but the bubble good to keep that Zarya alive, and Optical Crush taking down Bing as well. So Maron Mallows able to flip the point right back into their favor once again. Corrupted guys, that was a really, I think Krabby Adam was really looking to sort of punish Maron Mallows there for sort of sitting there, but it looks like, but I'm pretty sure there might have been a bubble there from Inhagen to sort of keep one member of the backline alive, and then it looked like Krabby Adam was just sort of panicked there, so then just kind of had to back up, and then Maron Mallows pushing forward with the ultimate advantage. So definitely a very good looks here for Maron Mallows on this first map here. It's now final fight territory, and Corrupted guys only have that coalescence to work with, and they will be pushing in with that. High Noon going to be committed though from Optical Crash to sort of zone out the rest of the team, and Dialects unable to avoid the LOS of that High Noon, and then D going to be able to take down Bing as well, and Inhagen going to be taking down Krabby Adam. This is just every kill here on the side of the Maron Mallows. Corrupted guys not never mind. Corrupted guys will be able to get one person in for the touch, but it's not going to matter. Maron Mallows able to take the Paul, and a pretty convincing 2-0 here to go up 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, I think Maron Mallows, they looked very good on this map, on this Zarya Torbjorn comp, especially into the brawl. I think that the amount of spam damage and survivability that they just had, Corrupted guys, they were trying to play really fast, but I I think they just need to bait a few more cooldowns a little bit, maybe play a little bit slower, try to bait some of their cooldowns like their bubbles and the Orb's E. But obviously, I think Cryptic guys, they usually have stuck to this Moira comp, I would say, on control maps, especially on Nepal. I've seen them play it a few times. So I think they do like playing really fast with the Moira, but maybe they'll switch it up for other maps. I'm not sure if it's just like a control thing. They like to play the Moira, go fast, but I think the Cryptic guys, they went into this being the #1 seed of their group, and they already took a map to the #5 seed from the from Ember. So
Yeah, and I think the big strength of Miramel is running that Zarya comp is, I think, again, it really enables their DPS to sort of have the advantage in a lot of these duels here. If Dialux is gonna, maybe dash onto Optical Crash, you can bubble your Cassidy, and then all of a sudden, Genji can't deflect your beam, and then, maybe the Cass can land a hinder, and then the Genji's already dead. So I feel like the Zarya is just, right now, it seems to be a pretty good counter to this sort of ultra fast playstyle that Cryptic guys are trying to go for, because it looks like Cryptic guys are just trying to sort of overwhelm Mallows before they can walk, but it looks like Cryptic guys are just kind of throwing their heads into the wall, just trying to, I guess, brute force their way through Mallows comp. But it's really hard to do that when Torb is so sustainable, and again, those bubbles as well, just so good at keeping just keeping people alive. So it looks like the next map pick will be Numbani, so maybe a little bit more of a dive, maybe more dive-oriented stuff from, I'm assuming Cryptic guys. Oh yeah, Cryptic guys did pick this map, I'm pretty sure. So I'm assuming maybe they're looking to hop off of the Moira comp and maybe play some dive.
yeah, perhaps. I think that if they want to switch something up against, and not run the brawl, going to Bonnie is a perfect way to do it. To be, force possibly some sort of dive. You can still run the brawl here. You can still run something like that, but it's a little bit more difficult than dive. But I do think that Numbani is a great map pick that they chose. But yeah, from that last map, I think Meester really had a lot of really big plays, especially beeping off Krabby Adam twice off the map, especially during their first fight.
Yeah, that is true.
The second fight that they had, they were able to cap the point back, get them more percentage, and I think they were just able to kind of like get momentum from that and just finish out that map.
Yeah, especially considering if you are Corrupted guys, I think with this super fast comp, the Ramatra is sort of like the base of that, because obviously Ramatra is there to pop the form and then have the entire team just collapse on the enemy team. But when your Ramatra gets booped off the map, it's just really hard to walk in, especially when you don't have a tank that can sort of absorb all the damage from the Torb and just like the Torb turret and stuff like that. And looks like we are going to be going into the bans here. It does look like from
Mallows decided to ban
Diva
with the first ban of the map.
The Torb ban.
And the Torb ban coming out, I feel like, Torb is pretty good in Numbani. Maybe Torbjorn pick a little bit too early. Who knows? Maybe you'll have more trouble later on. But I still think the Torb is a good ban on this map. I think even if you do run like a dive comp, you can still run just the Torb like on that high ground with the turrets.
Yeah.
Just shooting down spam from the high ground. And the Diva, obviously, I think Maron Mallows, it seemed like they just want to play like a Winston or maybe even like a Hazard. Just get the Diva out, play the other dive tanks that are available.
Yeah, I definitely do think. Yeah, again, I think the Diva is also just super strong on Numbani as a whole. Just considering, her boosters have such a short cooldown, so especially on first point, it's definitely very beneficial to just sort of booster from one high ground to another, or even on second or third point, where taking like those high ground positions, or just overall just overall being able to contest certain areas of the map with your boosters and defense matrix. I do think that's a very good ban there for Maron Mallows. And also, yeah, Corrupted guy is definitely not a bad ban from them as well, because I think even though Torb has never really been a specific like meta character, I think Torb has always been like, I feel like especially in these sort of comps and matches, I think Torb is just very much like
Torb can be pretty difficult to
just sort of like a, maybe not like meta, but always like a solid pick if like maybe your team is like maybe a little bit confused on what to run, or maybe they're just like, eh, like we don't really know what to play here. So like, you know what, we can just play Torp, because you know what, Torp has like the turret. He's very good for anti-type. He's really good with poke. He has a really good zoning ultimate. So good ban from them. And looks like we are going to be heading into our second map of Numbani. And looks like we're gonna find out. I guess we're gonna find out what comp both teams are gonna opt to play. And there was a swap for the side of Corrupted Guise, as Noctara will be coming in for Pollo. So maybe Corrupted Guise opting to stay away from the Lucio, because it looks like that's kind of what Pollo was in for. So it looks like we'll see.
Especially on this map, Lucio can always be still somewhat viable, but a lot of teams do like to opt to run the Brig a lot more and play just more stable. While Maron Mallows, they're playing something a little bit more unconventional on Numbani, but definitely seen quite a bit sometimes, especially on this map, like a Sim TP Reinhardt with a brawl. I mean, you see it sometimes, but not too often. While Corrupted Guise, obviously they're just gonna be running like a pretty standard dive comp.
Yeah, I think the big thing that Maron Mallows have to watch out for, I think especially Inhagen really needs to make sure to shield off the anti-grenade from Bing, because if Bing can hit a massive anti on that teleporter, that can be absolutely devastating for Maron Mallows. Because, you know, if you have no healing, then Krabby Adam and Crybaby can just sort of come in and just do so much cleave damage, especially when you're playing so grouped together. And looks like Corrupted Guise will be having the read that Maron Mallows are on the Symmetra comp. So it's just up to where Corrupted Guise, or where Maron Mallows want to TP, but it looks like they're just gonna a TP onto point. But so it looks like Krabby Adam is able to go in for free there. We'll actually get picked though, actually, maybe in a little bit too deep. Not really expecting. Yeah, we'll be able to get a pick, but I don't think he was maybe expecting all that damage to be coming in there from the side of Maron Mallows. Bing going to be laying an anti-grenade onto Meester, but again, look at the Reinhardt just able to force the rest of Corrupted Guise away, and Bing just going to get ridded on by Meester. But it looks like it's a pretty even fight for now, as Inhagen just going to eventually get overwhelmed by all that damage. So if I'm Maron Mallows, I should probably want to back up here, especially when you lose Meester. It's just the left on this Tracer.
Yeah, I don't think Corrupted Guise really thought about the Ryan TP comp, but nice kill there from Dialect, getting a nice early or like late pick on the Bochi. But they're swapping off of the Symmetra, I think probably just to try to touch the point pretty fast. But again, like Krabby Adam did blow up really fast, but still got a pick. They were down the Sim TP. They were unable to really just TP around the map like they wanted to early on.
Yeah, and another good nade there from the side of Bing. Dialect's going to be using the pulse bomb. Actually, just forced the lamp though, so Crybaby now has a free bullet shot, but Inhagen just going to be able to shield that off. The DPS line of Corrupted Guise falling really low. Same with Krabby Adam, just going to die to the Reinhardt swing. Maybe expecting a little bit more care from the backline. Crybaby going to be able to get one, but it looks like Maron Mallows will just be able to get a pretty fast cap here. Only 2 minutes off the time bank for them.
Yeah, that's not too bad of a first point cap, especially playing the Reinhardt here. But you know, Corrupted Guise, they swapped last fight to the Kiri. You know, there's no really need for a Brig if you know, if you're running a Reinhardt onto you, and I think that is a pretty good swap there. But it looks like Dialex might get caught out here, but taking attention away from Optical, but he's able to escape.
Yeah, Tracer just so hard to hit. So, you know, if Optical got the kill, that would have been a really impressive feat. So Dialect's just gonna back away for now. But the Speed High Noon with that Reinhardt shield is so good at forcing Corrupted Guise back. But now Corrupted Guise have a couple good old, have a Nano Boost and also the Primal Rage coming up here if they want to use that for this upcoming fight. But Maron Mallows, they do also have a pretty good amount of ultimates. Lamp going to be forced there from walkability, and also the window with that Nano Boost onto Krabby Adam and the Shatter onto the Winston, but Krabby Adam's going to be able to pop the Primal Rage at the very last second. So now Maron Mallows just sort of panicking a little bit, and walkability going to be the first one to fall. Beat coming out there from Meester, able to hit himself and Inhagen. Meester looking to try to chase down Krabby Adam, but Krabby Adam able to take down the Mega Health Bag, will be able to take down that Lucio. So Maron Mallows gonna have to back up for now.
That was a crazy last second Suzu there from Noctara, keeping Krabby Adam alive, able to use the Primal Rage to live there, and from that they were able to find walkability. And without the Baptiste, the Reinhardt comp is very hard to make any progress on.
Yeah, and we're seeing walkability just fall again to Krabby Adam. I think the Kitsune Rush dive is just so good at taking out because I think especially with Meester now on that Kiriko, if Misa doesn't have the Suzu available, walkability is just such a free target because you can't really amp speed away from those engages. So you definitely have to rely on that Kiriko to keep the Baptiste alive throughout these engages. If you are Maron Mallows. But Dialec's coming in from the side, just able to pick off Misa. It looks like Crybaby hit some pretty good bolts there as well onto the Kiriko. So again, Maron Mallows, just their timing is just slowly falling. Inhagen's so incredibly low off the back of that blow shot. And it looks like Maron Mallows are finally going to be able to make some progress here with a kill onto Krabby Adam, but Dialec's still in the backline, causing a lot of trouble here for this backline. Almost able to take down walkability, but yeah, they're going to be able to get the better of the Tracer. So that was a pretty good hold there from Corrupted Guise, all things considered.
Yeah, Corrupted Guise, they were doing that spawn hold pretty well for a little bit until it broke, but the Krabby Adam, nice pick there on the optical crash. They're going to be down that high noon there. That was probably going to be their main way of making space right now. But, you know, and Hagen's going to be coming up with the Shatter. They don't really have anything to stop the Shatter besides the Winston bubble. Especially since you probably go for more solo Shatters against this comp.
Yeah, and Hagen is falling so low. Yeah, Lamp going to be forced though, but again, Maron Mallows are going to basically have 5 ultimates. Yeah, we see them using the window and the high noon just to take a ton of space away from the side of Corrupted Guise. But again, Corrupted Guise, they do have some good ultimates to sort of respond to that. Krabby Adam going to be playing really aggro here. Definitely needs to build up that Primal Rage, but Optimal Crash is going to get overwhelmed there. Pulse Bomb going to be coming through from being able to take down one, but looks like Maron Mallows, they're not going to be able to get the kills needed, and we'll have to regroup for another fight.
Yeah, those were 2 really good picks there onto Krabby Adam and Octara. They, you know, they're gonna have both teams are gonna have a few respawns they're gonna have to wait for. But Maron Mallows, they have this high noon, they have this rush coming up. But Corrupted Guise, they have all 5 of their ultimate abilities with a minute left. It's not looking too good for Maron Mallows. If they're able to get a really big shatter off of here, they can negate some of the ultimates that they do have.
Yeah, but Dialec's again just taking this sort of in this flank position. Optimal Crash landing the hinder, but unable to get the actual kill. Krabby Adam again going in with that nano boost, but the shatter from Inhagen as well. But it looks like the Primal Rage good to keep Krabby Adam alive. Just Krabby Adam taking so much damage on this Winston, but will be able to get the kill. Yeah, actually able to get out with his life if he gets out with his life. It's absolutely massive. Noctara with a clean headshot there onto the end.
Only about 20 seconds left. It's looking pretty rough.
Yeah, but if I'm Maron Mallows, I'm not necessarily mad about that fight there. You still have one opportunity left. Yeah, and Corrupted Guise basically have to use every ultimate besides that Kitsune rush.
Yeah, you're gonna have this rush. You're gonna have to almost mirror it, but you know they still have to touch this point. The Reaper is gonna be on the flank, but the 6 card comes out. No, wait, not on point. Not on point.
Wait, yeah. I don't know if he's gonna.
Able to wake up, but he wasn't. Oh, great sleep there from Bing, keeping the Reaper off of the point, keeping the off the point, unable to touch even after waking up. But Maron Mallows, they had the mirror in the rush, but you know somebody's got to touch the point.
Yeah, I mean that was just such a good sleep there from Bing, because I'm pretty sure D was supposed to be the person to touch the point, because it looked like the rest of Maron Mallows were just sort of brawling the rest of Corrupted Guise with the Kitsune rush committed there from the side of Noctara. So Corrupted Guise were just sort of holding up it looks like Corrupted Guise were holding up pretty far, and maybe they wasn't expecting the Ana to just sort of be waiting around point there for a sleep dart. That is a crazy good Ana play, and yeah, that's exactly what you want from your flex score player.
Yeah, I cannot agree more with that, but it looks like Maron Mallows, they're going to be going back to what they were doing onto map 1. They're going to be trying to go for the Zarya here. And it's obviously with this Reaper, it looks like they're going to be trying to like TP the Reaper in, try to take some space for that, but looks like they're all going to be emoting up top. And all leaving.
They're all leaving. Never mind. Bing and Krabby Adam are stuck it up there for just a little bit longer. Oh, okay, Krabby Adam on the...
A very interesting comp, I will say, Maron Mallows. They have the poke with the Baptiste and the Alari, but then you're gonna have the Reaper TPing in. They're gonna be looking for the bubbles. I think the Reaper is gonna be looking for flanks, just like hiding around corners, being very, you know, sneaky like how a Reaper should be. But you know, I think that's gonna be the main point of that Reaper here. Is try to just disrupt their backline a lot.
And I think this is sort of Maron Mallows at their at like their best with the again playing these sort of unconventional, not super hard meta characters. We saw V on the Torb, now we're seeing him on the Reaper, and just applying so much pressure onto the side of Corrupted Guise. But Dialec's gonna fall again to Meester now on the Solari, so Meester making sure to get a good amount of value himself on the ERE as well. So Corrupted Guise just maybe not looking to go for any hard dives here, just a soft dive from Krabby Adam onto the high ground, just looking to take a little bit of space there, as it's definitely really much onto Krabby to sort of get an opening picture, but it's really hard to do that when your tank is just taking so much pressure from this Reaper.
Yeah, I think the Reaper here is also just going to really keep Krabby Adam into check, especially since Reaper has always been pretty good at just kind of just having the Winston, just shooting the Winston, keeping him in check, make sure he doesn't do anything he shouldn't be able to do. But
yeah, there's a Kitsune rush there from Noctara, and Inagen gonna be sort of, when Inagen gonna get slept and just eliminated there, and that's a big anti-grenade from Bing to sort of slow down the recontest attempt here from the side of Maron Mallows. I'm not really sure if they actually want to go for it. You don't really have your tank, so maybe just sort of maybe just wait to hold close once your Zarya is back on the field now. But I think Maron Mallows, they do have that EREL, and they also do have the bullet shot as well. So maybe even comboing those two ultimates to sort of wipe out Corrupted Guise, because that's kind of what you need here, considering you didn't really push the card that far. So looks like they just opting to, again, looking to brawl with the help of that Zarya bubble onto Krabby Adam. The bullet shot going to be committed there from Optical Crash. Not going to find too much, and now the Nano. Winston going to be committed, and V going to be looking for a Blossom, but just immediately slept out of there by Bing, the hero of Corrupted Guise, and the Nano boost onto Krabby Adam to take down walkability as well. Ariel going to be committed here from Meester, looking for a target, just going to shoot it. Just gonna shoot it kind of in the middle of nowhere. I'm not really sure that caught anyone, and yeah, Meester just gonna have to back up, but looks like we'll die to Krabby Adam. So very, very final fight territory now for Maron Mallows, if they can even get a touch in.
yeah, I think the guys have been doing a great job. Maron Mallows has really been struggling, I think, on the Zarya comp here, especially on Nubani. I think, the guys, they just play to go around the Zarya and just try to go in this backline here, especially when the backline is pretty vulnerable with Solari.
Yeah, now we are looking at the recontest fight here from the side of the Maron Mallows here. Wraithform and Immortality Foot going to be forced, though, from the side of Maron Mallows, but Dialec's actually going to be the first one to fall. Meester going to be able to get that pick off, and it looks like off the back of that, yeah, Maron Mallows will be able to hold on here.
It looks like this is where the hold starts now. They're gonna, they gotta hold for the time remaining, but I think that, Corrupted Guise, they have a rush, they have a pulse bomb coming out. I think that Maron Mallows, they need to play this almost perfectly. They basically have to play it perfectly if they want to be able to win this map.
Yeah, but I think that Maron Mallows, they just need to get these sort of ult rotations in correctly. And Hagen will have that Graviton Surge, and also walkability will be having that window. So those two ultimates need to be absolutely massive. Dialec's just going to get forced out by a little bit early by the Lucio Pulse Bomb. Going to be committed. But looks like Optical Crash going to be able to get the first pick there onto Dialec's, and D with another kill onto Noctara. So it looks like this is a very ultless fight win here for the side of Maron Mallows, which is exactly what you want.
Yeah, I mean, if B and Optical Crash keep on getting these picks onto Corrupted Guise without having to use any ults, I think, Maron Mallows, they have 5 ults coming up here. Corrupted Guise are going to have some ults as well, but Maron Mallows, if B just keeps up with getting these like flank kills, more surprise attacks, and Optical Crash is winning this Tracer duel against Dialec's, I think that Maron Mallows really have a good shot here.
Yeah, and if you're Krabby, you definitely need to be watching out for this Reaper. Yeah, looks like Wraithform will be forced, though. They will be backing up for now. But again, you still need to look at these 5 ultimates from the side of Maron Mallows. Nano Boost going to be committed there onto Krabby Adam, but the Soul Grab onto the Winston Kitsune Rush going to be committed as well. Just so many ultimates here, but Krabby Adam's going to fall to Inhagen. So again, Corrupted Guise is not going to be able to find too much there with their ultimates.
Yeah, at this point, I think the first point has a lot more high grounds and a lot more places for your Winston to go. So the second point it's a little bit less, it's more of a straight line, but I think that this Zarya just doesn't really ever seem to die, or even the Reaper, to be fair, and I think that bubbles have been great so far.
Yeah, we're seeing Krabby Adam looking to go in, but again, the sound barrier in here from Meester, so it's now time for Maron Mallows to sort of make an aggressive push here. The Death Blossom going to be committed by V, and that's absolutely massive.
Finding 4.
Oh man.
Yeah. Is exactly what you want to see from your Reaper, finding these really big death blossoms. I think V has been doing a great job just putting so much pressure on the Decrepit guys. I think that the way that V plays Reaper and these heroes sometimes have just is really difficult sometimes for the enemy team to counter.
Yeah, that's just exactly what you want there. It's a 4K reproll, and again, Corrupted guys, they are coming up on a pretty good amount of ultimates, but again, V just getting another kill onto Noctara. V cannot be doing this much on the Reaper, but the Primal Rage is going to be committed from Krabby Adam onto the backline of walkability. Gonna fall here off the crash, has to come up huge with that pulse bump, but not gonna find it. Able to do a pretty good chunk of damage there onto Bing, but it looks like finally the kills coming in favor of Corrupted guys, and that was such a valiant effort there from the side of Maron Mallows, but at the end of the day, Corrupted guys with such a good time bank on their side just will be able to equalize the series 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, Maron Mallows, they almost held this here with this V Reaper right here, but Corrupted guys, that final fight, they also swapped to their own Reaper, so maybe Reaper is just the truth. I'm not sure, but yeah, but like, see, V would just TP in, find the kills, able to just escape and get out with Wraith form. I mean, that's just amazing to see. This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, Reaper definitely definitely not a real popular character in this meta. So, seeing someone whipping out the Reaper, just, almost hard carrying that map there for Maron Mallows. And because if they went up 2-0 after what seemed like a really good hold there from Corrupted guys, that would have been devastating for the mental for the set of Corrupted guys. But Corrupted guys, at the very final moments there, will be able to get the kills that mattered and will be able to equalize the series 1-1. So it looks like we do have a series on our hands.
Yeah, we do got a series on our hands. I think that was a great map pick there from Corrupted guys going to Nubani. I think Maron Mallows, they really aren't known for that, for like playing dive and like a lot of high ground maps. They usually stick to what they are mostly good at, which is very unconventional heroes and comps, which tends to work pretty well against some teams. But I think once you get to these teams that are, the higher seed of teams, they're able to adapt a lot better and a lot more. But I do think that Maron Mallows can definitely still catch Corrupted guys off guard if they want to keep running these different kind of comps with like a Zarya or like the Reaper or the Torb. Especially since Torb was banned that map, I think that Maron Mallows, they still play that very well.
Yeah,
almost into the brawl kind of can be kind of rough, but I mean, that just shows, I think, how good Maron Mallows like actually is onto like brawl comps.
Yeah, and again, like I feel like Maron Mallows is very much sort of found their footing in like for majority of their defense. I think they sort of maybe figured out what works super well for them. So I feel like we should probably expect to see sort of more of that style here. Just let V cook on these characters, because he's just doing so much work for the side of Maron Mallows. And if you can, if you let V just, if you're Corrupted guys, you can't let V just run uncontested, or else like you're just gonna see super good plays like that in as well. But looks like the map here will be New Junk City, and also it looks like for the side of Maron Mallows, Jen has showed up. Genesex looks like he is here, so he will be in on DPS. So, and V will actually be on support now.
Because Genesect is a newer addition to the team. I think Genesect is there to play DPS, and obviously he's going to be on DPS for this map. And putting V onto support is obviously still like completely fine. V is also very good at the main support role, so we'll probably be seeing V play that. But we do have the hero bans coming in. Corrupted guys starting off with the Zarya ban, the hero that Maron Mallows played on both map 1 and 2 and looked a lot better in map 2 once they actually swapped to the Zarya. So I think this is a great ban, especially in New Junk City, which is the map they chose. I think especially like how like linear like Flashpoint is, and how it's basically just like 5 control points. I think the Zarya is a great ban here.
Yeah, and I think especially, I think a lot of I think it also sort of directly counters the strategy of, you know, if you're going to be running that Reaper, obviously, if you don't have a Zarya to bubble, then yeah, it could be a little bit harder to sort of get those engages in onto the back line. So
Yeah, but
very
maybe with
smart ban there.
Gen on DPS, you know, you don't have like the V Reaper to bubble in or the Torb, so maybe like they got something else going on for that.
Yeah, we could see maybe a little bit more of a standard comp here from the side of Corrupted Guise, and obviously V, a very strong main support player for Maron Mallows. So I definitely, so you know, it's not. I think even though I guess Gen isn't on DPS here, I think Maron Mallows are still going to be firing on all cylinders here, and looks like Maron Mallows have also done their ban. Looks like they are opting to ban the Genji. So maybe they're just trying to force a Tracer mirror?
I'm assuming so. I'm not sure. You know, obviously Dilax plays both Tracer and Genji, so forcing maybe that's just something they don't like playing into. They don't like to play the Genji. I'm not sure if you know, Maron Mallows, we really didn't see them play Genji too much. So I think that's just like a really good ban for them. They don't play it. The enemy team does play it. It's kind of one of those things, especially since I think Optical was doing a pretty good job on the Tracer duel against Dilax.
Yeah, and again, and the map will be New Junk City, so I think I definitely do think we're gonna be seeing some brawl. Do you think Inhagen is gonna play Reinhardt?
Actually, maybe. I'm kind of hoping for it. They're kind of awesome, but.
True. Maron Mallows have definitely been they've definitely been the team to not play the conventional comps, in my opinion. I think
yeah, they are.
They've definitely seen a lot of success.
Oh, yeah. This is something that I would be expecting.
This looks like something straight out of the Maron Mallows playbook here. Just play I guess like the general consensus is like this is just a really annoying comp to play into, and I think that's what Maron Mallows are trying to go for. But
like Corrupted Guise also got a pretty annoying comp.
Yeah, they also have a really annoying comp with the Venture and the Mauga. So
they're looking to play extremely fast, especially with this venturing Reaper. Once the Venture gets set up, they're able to go in and dig. You have the Reaper, you have the Mauga charging it onto you. Now, Maron Mallows, they have this big damage with this in the wall with the Bastion here, and the Reinhardt shield could just try to block any of the damage from the Mauga.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I do think I'm really interested to see how Corrupted Guise play this sort of comp, because it definitely does seem like a comp where you just sort of turn your brain off and just run into the enemy team. But again, Maron Mallows, they do have a pretty good amount of defensive abilities just in case. Like, yeah, like the wall is going to be coming out here. So early Cardiac Arrest is going to be popped there by Krabby Adam, but just going to get beamed down by the Bastion and Optical Crest. So no tank on the side of Corrupted Guise means that they're just going to have to sort of fight without their tank. And yeah, Maron Mallows will be able to get the first catch based off of that.
This is a very similar comp that we saw in map 1 with Corrupted Guise with the Mauga Moira. Like, again, like I think they do really like to play these fast comps with the Moira. Try to build up Cole as fast as you can, but I think the Maron Mallows, you know, they have a lot of ways to stop damage from coming in with the Mei wall and the Reinhardt shield, especially since Mauga is all about you have to be doing damage. You have to be able to heal yourself and just be able to shoot them so you can kill them and do damage. And Maron Mallows, they have the Reinhardt shield, they have the Mei wall. They're just trying to block everything that they have.
Seeing the pin coming in here from the side of Krabby Adam, but the window going to be committed there for mockability, most likely for Gen on that Bastion, and yeah, just going to be able to take down the Mauga. So again, looks like Corrupted Guise they're trying to play the super fast style of comp, but Maron Mallows is just so good at just being able to survive through all of that. So yeah, Corrupted Guise is going to have to wait again.
Yeah, Maron Mallows, I think this is definitely the best point for this comp, I would say. This is very, very like very small corners and everything, so maybe Maron Mallows might struggle a little bit more on some of the other more open points on this map, but as long as they can win the points that they can easily win, I think it'll be fine for them.
Yeah, and Dilax will be digging out of the ground and able to take down Genesex, so no Bastion on the field, and Immortality Field gonna be committed, but Inhagen gets a really big shadow there on the Reaper. Yeah, Crybaby eventually, Crybaby will be eliminated, so now the Sound Barrier in from V, just looking to take down the other Lucio. V good to take down his Lucio counterpart. Vengeful going to be committed there from Dilax, able to take down one, but it's not enough here. It's just Krabby Adam left onto the point versus 3 members of Maron Mallows, and will just be charging away.
And they're able to get the flip, but it was not really enough. The rest of the team
that wall is so
and the wall
good.
able to keep them up just a little bit, but looks like they're still going to be trying to touch this point, but they will be falling one by one. But the Death Blossom comes out finding one. Holy crap. They are pretty low, but oh, good fire strike there from Inhagen, finding Dialects, ending any chances they had of possibly bringing this point back. But
Yeah, I mean, honestly, from the Death Blossom from Crybaby, I was sort of expecting him to maybe swap off this Reaper, but looks like he's actually going to be sticking the Reaper here, so maybe just a little bit of an adventurous hero play from Crybaby. But now Crybaby Adam does have that cage available here, which I think, but unfortunately, look at the ultimates from Mallows. They have the Bastion ult and also the mail to counteract the cage, and that's exactly what's happening. Crybaby Adam just going to get ran over by every single member of Maron Mallows here. So Corrupted Guise again with no tank, just fighting a 4-on-5, but Dialec's going to be able to take down walkability. That's a massive pick here, and Crybaby on that flank able to take down the Bastion, but still Maron Mallows have control of this point since the Reinhardt is still alive and swinging.
The survivability and the stability that Maron Mallows just has, I think, is just so good. It looks like Crybaby Adam is going to be off of the Malga here onto the Orisa, into the Reinhardt here. I think would be a lot better just for survivability to try to live. But it looks like it's already just paying off, finding 2 picks here. But it looks like Maron Mallows is going to be forced to back up here.
And I do think the Orisa, definitely a very smart pick, especially I think like maybe the Malga pick, but I think like maybe like when you see that they're on this sort of May Bastion Rhine comp, like you think to yourself like, I don't really know if I should play Malga here because, you know, like you run in, you get walled, or like if you cage, you can get Bastion ulted or just May ulted. So it's like, this is a really good swap here from Crybaby Adam though, because obviously Orisa is probably one of the best tanks in general right now, I'd say, alongside Hazard, and just so much CC capabilities, especially onto a Reinhardt. For Crybaby with a TP here, maybe looking for a Death Blossom, but not going to go for it. The shatter from Inhagen just going to be shattering the fortified Orisa, so nothing going to be coming out of that. But the sound barrier here coming out from the Corrupted Guise with the Kitsune Rush, but Corrupted Guise falling incredibly low here. Genesis going to be able to get the first pick, but Crybaby with the Death Blossom going to be able to find 2 to equalize the fight. Still very winnable here for either side, as Autograph Crash will be in that ice block here.
Point.
Yeah, Miramar is actually going to put the point in their favor, but the kill is now back in favor of Corrupted Guise. But as I say that, Inhagen will be able to get a kill onto Crybaby, so it's just the Reinhardt and this Tracer.
That was a very good flip there from Maron Mallows. Able to get a lot of percentage there.
Bomb.
I'm not sure. They have most of their team back. That flip really saved them for this point, because I think they're just gonna be able to solace out as long as they can. But I'm unsure if they're really gonna be able to get another touch here.
Yeah, that's a really good kill there from Gen, but it has to be a very last-ditch effort. But no, they're not going to be able to. The TP not going to be there in time, so Corrupted Guise will be able to take this next flashpoint now. We are going to be tied up 1-1.
Yeah, Maron Mallows, you know, they swapped to the Symmetra, trying to just keep you on the map a little bit more. I think it would be a lot better against the Orisa. I think the trying to just 1v1 an Orisa as a Bastion sometimes won't work out as well as you think, but Maron Mallows, they have this Mayalt and the Symbol coming up as well. They might look for a TP Symbol possibly onto the point or somewhere.
Yeah, and I think the Symbol is definitely the ultimate that Corrupted Guise need to watch out for, because it can definitely split up the rest of your team. But the Orisa going to be committed though from the side of Crybaby Adam, and walkability just going to get picked off there by Dialect. So with the help of that Orisa ult, the Tracer is able to rip through the rest of the roster here. So Maron Mallows going to have to back up there. Looks like only one ult committed on both sides though, and hey, the Mythic weapon.
The Mythic weapon. I think this Orisa swap has been doing so well for Corrupted Guise. I think Crybaby Adams has really been able to just keep Inhagen in check and try to keep this Reinhardt away from the team as much as possible. Looks like we're going for a little bit of a fake TP, but the pulse bomb comes out, finding one.
The pulse bomb actually not going to be able to land a stick, but hitting Crybaby Adam off the map, and Optical Crash going to be able to take down Crybaby as well. But again, Dialect finding 2 kills so far, and this Tracer but just going to get swung on by Inhagen, will be forced to die, unfortunately. So yeah, that was still a really solid attempt there from Dialect. He actually gets the pulse bomb kill onto walkability without having to actually land the stick there. So that was basically as much value as you can get from that pulse bomb. But Maron Mallows will be able to get the flip in their favor going in here.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great play there from Genesec. The TP there. Most of the team did not take the TP, and I think it really distracted Krepta guys, putting a lot of focus onto that TP while Maron was able to find the picks.
Yeah, but walkability again just dying to Dialects. Dialects doing so well on this Tracer. Soundberry from V, not going to be able to keep Inhagen alive, but will be able to hit the rest of his team here. So Maron Mallows just trying to fight on point, but everyone just chunked down so incredibly low that Arisa just doing so much damage, and the cleanup from the rest of the members of Krepta guys will be able to flip the point back into their favor. And this is basically Final Fight territory here, as walkability will be swapping over onto that Kiriko.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, this fight right here is going to really mean a lot, because whoever wins this fight right here is probably going to be heading to map point for this. So whoever can find out the Suzu looks like came out saving it just in time, but they all kind of just died at once.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, I mean, I didn't even see what really happened there, but look, that was just such a big blossom from Crybaby, and just the follow-up damage from Krepta guys to just take down everyone. That was absolutely insane from Crybaby. So it looks like Krepta guys will be able to go up 2-1 on this flashpoint, and it's now match point here for the side of or map point for the side of Maron Mallows. So they really need to lock in on this final point to make it go to 2-2, and Genesec will be on the Torb.
Yeah, it looks like Genesis tried to be doing the D was doing on map 1 while Inhagen's be swapping to the Orisa here.
Yeah,
the same thing that Krabby Adam's been doing.
Oh, the Orisa is so big though.
Finding everyone's so low.
If you looked at the health bars for Maron Mallows, everyone just chunked down so incredibly low off the back of that Orisa. So Krabby Adam getting basically maximum value out of that one, I guess, outside of just, you know, killing them all, just bringing them all to basically just bringing them to like 1 health bar. That was absurd.
I do really like the swaps here from the Torb and the cast both on Maron Mallows. I think that the spam that you're able to put out with both the cast and the Torbjorn can really do a lot of damage, especially since the Orisa with a really big just hitbox and head hitbox. I think you're able to do a lot of damage there, but I guess it was a spear there onto Krabby Adam, finding a really early pick there on Genesec.
Yeah, so now Maron Mallows just gonna have to back up, because, you know, I feel like your Torb is definitely going to be a really big source of your damage. So if you don't have your Torb, you can't really push in. But Maron Mallows, they do have the Kitsune Rush where Krepta guys don't. So I think that really has to be the turning point for this fight. If you are Maron Mallows, as we are inching towards Final Fight territory. Soundberry are going to be committed though from both sides actually. So just sort of an all-out brawl on this high ground here, as both teams looking for anything. Krabby Adam going to be the first one to fall to Genesec, and Outdoor Crash as well with the kill onto Crybaby. So at the end of the day, Maron Mallows will be able to flip the point into their favor, but Krepta guys doing a pretty good job of getting it into 1-fight territory.
I think Maron Mallows, you know, they were kind of slowly just building some of these ultimates to try to be able to cap this point, but Krepta guys are already got to the 91%. They're going to be having their DPS ults up as well. So will Maron Mallows. So I think whoever can get these value from DPS ults is just going to be able to win this point and possibly this map.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that Maron Mallows really have to care for is this Orisa ult from Krabby Adam. Because if it's just like last time where Krabby Adam can even just bring your team down super low, Crybaby has that Death Blossom available, so that can be absolutely devastating here if you are Maron Mallows. Inhagen just gonna get chunked down and not able to use the Orisa ult. Upper Crash popping the high noon, but not gonna be able to get a kill with that and just overwhelm the Death Blossom from Crybaby. Actually gonna get shut down, but the pull spot from Dialects. Dialects just going absolutely insane on this Tracer, just picking off 3 there, and that's basically, I think that's the map there. Krepta guys going to be going up 2-1.
Now it looks like Krepta guys will be at match point right now for this first round of the playoffs. But Maron Mallows, you know, Inhagen just took so much damage at that final fight. Like Crybaby on that Reaper just doing so much damage, forced to fortify, but it was unable to keep Inhagen alive. And Krabby Adam with the assault as well. This is where they all kind of just died.
Awesome. Yeah, like
where they just
all died so instantly. That was just, yeah, Crybaby doing so much work there on the Reaper, hitting the emote at the end as well.
And hit the emote.
That's what you like to see.
That's tough. But yeah, I think Krabby Adam had really huge Orisa ults, especially that last point, getting a lot of them low and just kind of negating a lot of ultimates that Maron Mallows were trying to use for that point. Especially since Inhagen died early. Inhagen didn't have time to use the Orisa ult, his own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Maron Mallows were really relying on that Orisa ult to sort of, you know, because they had the high noon available too. But as soon as Inhagen dies, Optical Crash just sort of panic using that high noon, just looking for anything. But then when when there's an Arisol in your face, you can't really do anything. It's so hard to do anything into that. So yeah, Corrupted Guys will be going up 2-1 now. So obviously Mallows can bring it to a 5-map series, or Corrupted Guys can win our very first playoff game here.
We might be able to, Corrupted Guys might be the first. I think it might be the first A-League.
Yeah. First A-League playoff game. Obviously, there were a couple of B-League ones and a C-League one yesterday. So first A-League team to make it to the upper semis.
And we'll see, but possibly, Maron Mallows might bring us back to map 5. I forget what the next map type is, but obviously, I think a lot of the maps do kind of help Maron Mallows a little bit. I do think that they do want to play more brawl-centric comps with like either the Reinhardt or the Zarya, play like a Torb or a Reaper, but I think Corrupted Guys, they have comps as well. Do they like to run for that as well? I think Corrupted Guys have a lot more versatility with what they want to run than what Maron Mallows has. But I think what Maron Mallows do have is also really good.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like it just looked like maybe Maron Mallows just need to sort of. I think Corrupted Guys just look so clean with like their team play in general. So I think Maron Mallows just really have to sort of watch out for just getting punished and getting picked, because I think that is definitely what's sort of costing them some of these team fights, is just that really unlucky pick they're onto Inhagen. Maybe I just don't think Inhagen was expecting all that damage to be coming in here.
He was unable to really just back up, unable to just sustain to keep Hagen alive. But Maron Mallows, I think they're going to be able to possibly make it to map 5, but we will be going to a quick break right now, so stay tuned. We will be back with this 2-1 series.
We got nowhere to be, just a slow dance with the summer heat. The world outside can't wait a few, 'cause right now we got nothing else to do. The sun is peeking through the cotton white blinds, your hands still tangled up in mine. Feet on the wall, your head on me, floating easy. We got nowhere to be, got nowhere to be. Your hair's a mess, but you don't mind. You just laugh, let it fall where it lies. Coffee's cold, but we take a sip, talk about nothing. Let the morning slip. Oh, it feels like that, like summer air through window cracks. Oh, it feels like that, like summer sun on quiet tracks. Oh, it feels like that, like the summer rain that falls so slowly on the naked skin upon your back. Oh, it feels like that, like a love song on a worn out track. Yeah, it feels like that. Feels like that. Yeah, it feels like that. Na 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 na. Feels like that. Oh, it feels like that, like summer air through window cracks. Oh, it feels like that, like the summer sun on quiet tracks. Oh, it feels like that, like the summer rain that falls so slowly on the naked skin upon your back. Oh, it feels like that, like a love song on a worn out track. Yeah, it feels like that. Feels like that. Yeah, it feels like that. Na 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 na. Feels like that. Your grace is love.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Whoa!
We're back with
Wow.
this Corrupted Guys versus Maron Mallows A-League playoffs round 1. Corrupted Guys, they're up to a 2-1 start from the first half of the series, but you know, Corrupted Guys, they've been looking pretty strong on all sorts of different comps, while Maron Mallows, they've been sticking to what's been working for them, it seemed like, for most of the season, and they're going to try to continue to maybe adapt a little bit, but I think Maron Mallows, you know, I think they can possibly bring this to a map 5 here.
Yeah, but obviously I think Gibraltar definitely does sort of fit the style of Corrupted Guys way more, because Krabby Adam's been really loving the Winston when, you know, obviously when he's not playing the Magro or the Orisa. I think Winston's definitely been his preferred dive tank of choice, and I think that's gonna work. I think that would work out really well here on Gibraltar, especially because I think Gibraltar is one of the best Winston maps in the game. So we'll see what Maron Mallows, you know, run out with. They could just be running there some funky comps as they always do.
Perhaps Gibraltar, you know, it is a great map pick. Because the Maron Mallows, actually, they decided to choose the first ban, which gave Corrupted Guys the map pick actually instead. So Maron Mallows decided with the first ban to ban Freya.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like I feel like a Freya ban just maybe sort of. I feel like in my head that would mean that Maron Mallows are trying to maybe run this maybe like a sim TP type thing, and they don't really want the bullet shot for their TP, or even just like the.
I think Freya just on this map general is just honestly really good. It's pretty open, and especially on like second points, there's a lot of like small, like the second point doors that you can kind of just spam right through. That could be annoying to go against.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of just small areas that you kind of have to sit in, and little doorways that like are really good for bullet shots and just for explosive bolts.
Yeah, and I also do think that this Diva ban from Corrupted Guys, I do think that basically confirms that we are going to be seeing Krabby Adam on that Winston here. You know, obviously Diva, maybe not like a counter to Monkey, but definitely one of the definitely just like a very solid counter. Yeah, just like considering how you can sort of boop the Monkey away so consistently, just tank through his left click just because you have so much armor as well. So very good ban there from the set of Corrupted Guys. But obviously, you know, I feel like if Maron Mallows are opting to I feel like Maron Mallows really don't have an issue with Krabby Adam playing Winston, since they did choose to actually. Since obviously, if you are going to be choosing to ban the Freya first, so I'm assuming that means, you know, you maybe just have an issue with Freya more than, you know, you have an issue with like
the guys. They were playing Freya a little bit on Ubani, so maybe, you know, just getting rid of that Freya, I think, enables just you not to have to play Freya as well. But it looks like we'll be heading into the map right about now, into Watchpoint Gibraltar. Map 4 of our series, so hopefully it'll be a good one. If Maron Mallows are able to surprise Corrupted Guys maybe a little bit with some team comms, or possibly just, you know, and win the map, they will be able to go to a map 5 and possibly bring this one back.
Yeah, true. And then obviously the final map will be a control. So Yeah, it's just for will be a control. So yeah, it's for anyone. But yeah, I think that's like I think anything can happen on control. And looks like Corrupted guys. Oh yeah.
Looks like
Yup is here.
gone. So Yup showed up, I suppose, and now Yup is gonna be in for Meester/B onto the main support, while Gavin the Slim is gonna be in for Krabby Apple. Krabby
Adam.
Or Krabby Adam.
Krabby Apple.
Krabby Apple.
I like that name. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Krabby Apple. It's like if he was a fruit. Yeah.
If he was like Krabby, like a Krabby Apple, he's like really mad and he's just like an apple. But
I'm just imagining a really angry apple.
Me too.
And
Looks like he's going to the TP here,
Yeah, but the instant anti-grenade from the side of oh my gosh, what just happened?
Noctar finding three.
What?
That happens.
Yeah, it's just the anti-grenade from. I'm assuming that was the anti-grenade from Bing. Yeah, and then I think Avengers able to sort of trap a lot of members of Mirror Mouse into that room. So again, Hazard is able to do so much of that, just able to do so much damage with the block and also just the slash. So I think that's why Noctar was able to get a 3K there on that break to start off here, and looks like Mirror Mouse now taking the high ground, looking for a dive, but of course, Corrupted guy's on a pretty hard comp to dive here, especially with Crybaby on that soldier, can just sort of sprint away from the Winston engagement. That's exactly what we're seeing here in Hagen. Not going to be able to get too much value in B. Just going to get picked off. They're maybe a little bit isolated, and Dialec's going to be able to punish the Torbjorn there, so no Torb on the side for Maron Mallows means that they're going to have to just play this fight a little bit slower, because you don't really have a lot of spam damage onto that Hazard, and another anti-grenade there from Bing onto Yup. So again, just so many opportunities for Corrupted guys to slow down this pusher from Maron Mallows.
Yeah, it looks, because especially with this Hazard, they want to be able to take it a little bit slower, try to take a little bit of space as you can, try to use your block, but they really pick on the auto crash definitely does not help at all. Trying to take the space. I think that it looks like Amazon's
it's really deep, but yeah, the block from Hazard is just so strong. It's basically taking no damage as Bing just gonna be able to keep the Hazard alive, and Hagen just gonna fall. So again, Maron Mallows is just gonna have to back here. That's half their time being already gone, and they really haven't made that much progress here on this payload.
Yeah, I mean, like Dialax has been doing a great job just keeping obstacle crash, this tracer duel, keeping the point stabilized, not really going too much. The early all here.
Yeah, the Hazard will be just gonna get caught out in the open,
especially in the small doorway. Kind of hard to get out of that.
Yeah, and I think we're sort of maybe seeing the struggle with the Torb here, because obviously Torb has no mobility, so not really able to avoid the Hazard, and then when the Torb just gets caught out in the open, that's just basically a free kill for Corrupted guys. But now this will be a very old heavy fight for the side of Mirror Mallows, especially. They have 5 ultimates coming out here, so Mirror Mallows, they definitely need to sort of work around their ult bank and maybe not pop too many going into this next fight here. And Hagen's gonna be looking to dive onto Noctara. And Bing, Primordial's going to be forced though. Noctara super low though. Yup going to be able to get the whip shot there onto the break, but Dialec's again able to get the best of his Tracer counterpart here. And it all can just end really deep. We'll be able to take down Bing eventually though, but that's a nano Tracer. There's so much damage to eliminate the Winston. And look at this, a pretty back and forth fight for a pretty back and forth fight going on right now. No team's really having a clear advantage, but the Torb going to be committed here by V. So ultimate bank from both sides just slowly being depleted, but Dialec's again going to be able to equalize onto walkability as soon as I was going to comment on that kill from Noctar from Bing. But again, I think the ultimate's committed here from the side of Mirror Mallows eventually will help them sort of brute force their way into this first cap.
Yeah, Maron Mallows, they had to use a good bit there to get the cap, but so did the Corrupted guys as well. I think both Tracers, they did find one with their pulse bombs, which helped out a lot. But a really nice pick there from B onto Dialac, just finding that early kill on the Tracer. Really what you want to see. You're going to get a lot of free card progress from that.
And I think if I'm Cryptic, guys, I really want to see Crybaby doing something, maybe doing a little bit more here on the Soldier, because I haven't really seen the Soldier getting a lot of really super valuable picks here. And I think this Tactical Visor has to come out sooner or later, or else, you can't just be holding on to the ultimate all game if you are Crybaby here. So again, especially with Maron Mallows not really having a lot of ultimates, I think this would be a good opportunity here to pop that Tactical Visor for Crybaby. Just going to be able to kill Inhagen outright, and not no tank on the side of Maron Mallows and be just sort of taking this duel against Dilax, but Bing going to be assisting Dilax over there, will be taking down the Torbjorn, and Maron Mallows just going to have to back up.
I mean, these are some really good pick there, or early pick there from Crybaby on the up there. Having wasted a little bit more time, but Cryptic guys, they have 4 ultimates coming up here, so I think they're probably gonna be trying to look for this nano engage, or maybe even like a nano visor as well. Try to really just, I think that Maron Mallows, they might be trying to walk into the open. They're gonna be just caught with a visor in their face. But a really good pick there.
Yeah, Bing just with the nade from downtown, able to take down the other Ana. That is not what you want if you're Maron Mallows, because if you don't have your Ana alive, Inhagen can't really go in for any engages. There's just absolutely no, basically little healing available, and actually will be forced to pop the Pepper Rage, but gonna get trapped by the Hazard ult. That is so unfortunate there for Inhagen. Crybaby is gonna be able to take down the Winston, just gutting him down from that high ground. And yeah, we're down to a minute, and Maron Mallows just popping that Pepper Rage for basically no value.
I mean, yeah, that ult there, the Hazard ult there was just like was basically making sure the Winston cannot do a single thing, basically both ults. But the Torbjorn was coming out here pretty early, I would say, from it, trying to just take some space here. I think that it was forced Cryptic guys to back up pretty far.
Yeah, but again, Dilax just coming up huge again. The sleep dart miss there from Bing, though, will mean that there is no Ana, and that's really bad here for Gavin, as Gavin was already super low. Noctar just sort of shield bashing into sort of help to try to help out the Hazard.
Gotten canceled there from Bing. Yeah. Bing looked like tried to use a nano there, but got canceled. So whoever they're trying to nano, unfortunately, was not able to get it. And I think that it really just hurt them a lot here, because I think that Maron Mallows
there's a Tactical Visor though coming out here from Crybaby, almost takes that walkability. Will be able to. There's no Ana again, and Inhagen has no Primal Rage available, so will just fall here to Dilax. Able to get a lot of value here on this Tracer, going to be taking down Yup as well, but V and Optical actually going to be able to get a couple good kills themselves, but too little too late, as Maron Mallows there, that was just such an unfortunate fight for them.
Yeah, I mean, they had the rally brawling down on that bottom part on the low ground, but with the Tactical Visor on the high ground on the flank, they were just not, it did not seem like they were expecting that at all. Inhagen tried to go jump onto the visor, but was not able to live from that. So finding an early pick, that especially on the walkability, they didn't really have a lot of help with that, and they were able. And then Cryptic guys were just able to stall at that point long enough for their entire team to just come back.
Yeah, and I feel like the Soldier pick as well from Crybaby definitely. I feel like Soldier is definitely has not been played at all on this map. I think, I feel like especially with that Freya ban though, I'm assuming that's sort of what Cryptic guys are looking to, or not Cryptic guys. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was Maron Mallows that actually banned the Freya here. So Crybaby just sort of, I guess, going another character that can work pretty well, especially if you can get your Soldier set up on that high ground.
The worst, because you are able to just run around the map pretty freely and put out a decent bit of poke.
Yeah, and it looks like Cryptic guys will just be looking to get the hook out of spawn here, maybe looking to punish Inhagen. Gavandislim will be on that Roadhog just to start off here.
Maybe we get a little pick here, a little hook.
Yeah, just look for a hook. You see where Inhagen's playing. You know exactly where that TP is going to be going here. Oh, okay, actually a little bit of a different position. Maybe not, not directly in front of their face.
Now.
Yeah, Gavin's actually
just walking up.
Yeah, he's just going to be sticking to this Roadhog. You know what? I really like this as a
no, eventually
quote-unquote Roadhog player.
I like this a lot, actually.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this.
On point. What are you gonna do to stop it?
Exactly. Well, maybe just dive the backline. I think that's what Maron Mallows are looking to go for. Just taking a lot of pressure there from Inhagen will eventually get picked off there, but Inhagen pretty low himself will have to play very safe. Hook from Gavin, not gonna find anything, and no, looks like the piggy experiment is over. Looks like he's walking back to spawn to swap off.
Oh, the piggy.
A new character, and Dialog's unfortunately gonna die pretty. Not a really good death there for Corrupted Guise. That's just more time off their time.
A little bit of a push with the card, but unable to live off the crash find pick. But on when we swap for the hazard here, you know what they played on defense worked really well.
Yeah, and Gavin the Slim just doing a good amount of damage there onto Yup. Just sort of forcing this team back, and Inhagen just kind of alone right now. But actually, I will say it is Gavin the Slim actually very much alone here. But with the help of that block, will be of course surviving. And yeah, now the card already for Corrupted Guise in a position where Mallows is sort of up to all stack and server room. That's not really where you want, you know, your entire team to be holding. You want to maybe try to be taking some different angles, but again, could be a little bit hard with that Torpid walkability. Just gonna get overwhelmed with Dialogs and Gavin just letting a dive onto that Ana. Inhagen does have that Primal Rage available here. Almost does. Most likely will be able to farm it up here, but it doesn't even seem to matter as Mallows just getting all these picks. But Inhagen just opting to pop the Primal Rage anyway. Just you know what? Well, yeah, why not just get a punch in, You know, just say like, you guys lost the fight. I'm gonna have to punch you for that.
And it looks, yeah, I mean, Maron Mallows, they're already down to less than 2 minutes right now, but the nano boost is coming out, probably going to be able to find a pick here on the Bing.
Yeah, it looks like it's a pretty, I was going to say a pretty even fight for both sides, and yeah, actually it will be. Dialog's fighting 2 on this Tracer, and Crybaby going to be able to get the pick off onto these, so now it's just Inhagen with no Primal Rage available, just I guess dying on the cart there.
They were able to do a lot of trades on the back line. But looks like Dialogs is still in it. Dialogs was able to get out. I think, I'm not sure if they're looking to touch. Look like Tracer might try to touch for a little bit, possibly on the high ground, but...
Yeah, but optimal crash, recall will be forced really early, so definitely really... yeah, it's gonna get picked off there by Dialogs. Dialogs is getting so much value here on this Tracer. We see him just sort of, again, pressuring out that backline so hard, but getting watched by these, so gonna have to maybe watch out. Yeah, just to watch out for that Tor, but in the meanwhile, all of Mallows are just gonna die to Crybaby and Gavin, so yeah, 3 minutes to basically just push it to the end of second point here for Corrupted Guise.
I mean, especially on Watch Point, Gibraltar, second point, really anything's possible. I feel like you see so many holds here on the second point. This is one of the more difficult points I would say in the game. Just try to like move around and try to capture. Yeah,
but again, Crybaby just doing holding a pretty good angle. Yeah, he's getting caught out. That's not what you want here if you are Maron Mallows. You really want to be able to sort of set up a stronghold here if you want to be able to hold Corrupted Guise and take this one to a map 5. And they're going to be swapping off the Torm now onto the Cassidy, but they really need to put, if you're Maron Mallows, you really have to watch out for this tactical advisor here from Crybaby. Even that pulse bomb from Dallas could just seal the fate of the Maron Mallows. Right now, the nano boost onto Crybaby, the nano visor in Hagen.
Unable to actually kill Crybaby.
Kills there. Crybaby gets 3. That's exactly what you want from your soldier, and I think that's it.
Yeah, that was a fantastic nano there from Bing. You know, in Hagen, they tried to go dive the soldier, but then Bing with that nano visor ran the Crybaby, finding 3 with that, leading Corrupted Guise to a 3-1 victory against the Maron Mallows. I mean, they will be moving on to the upper bracket round 2. Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like after first map, I sort of had like, you know, maybe like a little bit of doubts on, you know, I was like, did Corrupted Guise pick the right opponent? Because it looked like Maron Mallows were really much in control of Nepal, but, you know, I think like later down the line, I think Corrupted Guise just really turning up those last 3 maps, because it looked like Maron Mallows were just permanently sort of on the back foot, just looking to, you know, I guess just like looking for, I don't know. It just looked like,
yeah, I mean, I can kind of agree with that as well.
Lost.
That first map, I was also questioning the same thing as well. Be like, did they pick the right opponent? Because I think, you know, they definitely looked like they knew what they were doing on that first map, but then later on, it looked like Corrupted Guise, they were just choosing the right maps. I think, as well as hero bands to really take this map and this series into a whole different direction.
Yeah, and yeah, the nano visor at the end there was just that was just so unfortunately timed there for Inhagen, because Inhagen was 89 to that primal rage, and you know, Crybaby just dropping onto the Winston, absolutely no fear for the Soldier 76. You know, you have that nano boost, you have the damage reduction. It's just a Winston who doesn't even have primal rage yet. So yeah, that was just like such an excellent punish there from the set of corrupted guys. So now Maron Mallows will be dropping into the lower round one. They will be playing either Primal Pineapples or Polaris. That is a very, very tough game for Maron Mallows in that lower bracket game. And the winner of the Primal Pineapples versus Polaris will be playing Corrupted Guys in the upper semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a pretty rough lower round one, as I will agree with that as well. But it looks like, you know, anything can happen in the playoffs. You know, teams can level up a lot and start to lock in a lot more because they know there's stuff on the line, especially when it's an elimination game. So I do think Maron Mallows, they do have a decent shot, I think, of taking things a lot farther. It was just unfortunate you had to play the #1 seed of the Ash group. So they kind of, you know, they've just been looking really dominant all season, while Maron Mallows, you know, they also look good in the regular season as well. And I think that with these lower bracket games against some of these lower seeded teams, with these comps that the Maron Mallows do run, I think they'll be able to catch a lot of teams off guard, and those teams will not be able to really adapt as well as Corrupted Guys was able to.
Yeah, and it looks like Corrupted Guys want to do an interview. Looks like Krabby Adam is in the waiting room. Hello, Krabby.
Krabby's here.
Good. Yeah, that was a good win. I mean, like, I guess the big question that I have is, like, did you have like any specific prep going into this game? Because it seemed like you sort of, you know, you seem to kind of have a really good counter strats for what Maron Mallows wanted to run.
Nope, I'm not gonna lie. Absolutely zero prep. We just our philosophy, I guess, for this season is we play styles, not heroes, and we just adjust the heroes to make our style work versus whatever the enemy team does. So we never really changed our style this match. We just had to make some hero adjustments to accommodate for the fact that there was a Torbjorn running rampant, because that hero can be scary sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. On the pool, I'm 500 HP. I'm chilling, and then I get right clicked through a window and I'm dead by a single Torbjorn. That was
that definitely happened.
an experience.
Yeah, and then your next game will be either Primal Pineapples or Polaris. Is there like out of those two teams, like, is there a team that you would rather play? Between
in my opinion, they are same thing, different names. They run the same comps. It's genuinely just going to be a matchup of which team will run their comps better, like the same comps better. But I don't personally mind, because we're just going to play our game, and they're just going to have to hope we're, you know, not having an off or not having. I've lost my train of thought.
having an off day.
Yeah, they're just, you know, we will play our style. We'll either win or we'll lose. You know, it's a 50-50 in Overwatch.
I like that. You know, playing your own style, not having to just like try to force a different type of play style that you don't really do just because the enemy team runs something different. Doesn't really, you know, doesn't really work out sometimes, and running your own game it definitely does.
Indeed.
Yeah. Do you have any questions yourself, Silvertools?
So, was the a lot of the swaps on the Mauga, is that something you usually do a lot? You know, like the Mauga, Moira, and obviously you were seemed like you were forced to swap off of it because I think, you know, the Reaper and the Torb just kind of stopped it a lot. And especially against that Zarya, was Zarya causing a lot of problems with that, with like the bubbles, or was it just that you needed to swap off the Mauga?
I think as I said, it's like we were gonna be doing the same. Our style is we are tempo warlords. Like,
yeah,
we will run at you. Be prepared. And well, who better to run at people than Malga?
That's so
but then
true.
sometimes there's heroes that kind
Yeah,
of
the heroes that Maron Mallows plays.
sometimes there's a few heroes that don't let you run at them as well as on Malga, which then forces me to like go some other stuff.
Yeah.
Like for example, like versus the Mei Bastion, I could have probably committed Malga. I could have stayed it. I could have carried on, but I was just kind of having a bad time, and it takes too much brain power to play Malga into like Reinhardt, Bastion, Mei, so I just go with Rissa and press E if they're gonna shoot me, and then I don't take any damage. So it's... But we still did the same thing, except
Yeah.
I just had an anti-Bastion button now.
I mean, yeah, that is very much true. But yeah, that was the really the only question that I had.
Alrighty. Is there? I guess this is for you, Krabby. Is there any player on your team that you would like to shout out? Any player that you think is the MVP of your team? I guess.
I mean, I think we all pull our weight, we all do our things. I guess if I know MVP voting season is coming up, so I'm gonna start campaigning for my players now.
Yes, campaign for your players. This is a good place to do it.
Deluxe is just, I mean, he's a very top candidate for just A-League MVP overall, but Rookie of the Year, Deluxe, definitely for sure. And
Definitely agree with that.
And for most improved, you need to it might seem like Gavin has just been like carried because he got drafted to a good team or whatever, but like if you looked at the start of the season power rankings, they did not think Corrupted Guise was good. We were like bottom 3, bottom 2 in all these power rankings, and I was gone for like the first 2 weeks, and like I missed like 3 game weeks. Gavin had to play all these matches, and Gavin's level has improved so much, considering he was winless in A-League last season, to now being an insignificant like component to a first seed team. And just, I can tell you personally, having watched him in scrims and helping him improve, some of the calls he made in like that Jibber match, he would not have done like in the first week of games. Like in the first week, he had a tendency to like just overextend. It would get to his head. He'd be jumping on 100 HP. He would just keep dying, and he'd be like, "Duh!" But he's always positive, and he was always down to improve. But this week, like I saw him make 0 int jumps on Jib, like 0 int jumps. He knew his limits, and you won't be able to appreciate it maybe as much because he's a tank player, but the difference between Gavin at the start of season and now is night and day, and the difference between Gavin last season and this season, astronomical. He's like a completely different player. And Gavin, he's most improved. Like, even if you ignored last season, just this season alone, he's improved so much. I'm proud of my man. So, yeah. Deluxe for A-League MVP, at least Rookie of the Year, Gavin for most improved. I love my team overall. I love these guys. That's my campaigning.
Yep, you heard it here first.
Vote
sure you
Dialex
vote.
for MVP or Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, you sold me.
Gavin for most improved. I mean, honestly, I think it's great that you're having so much fun with your team as well. Because, like, you know, I feel like having like that good team environment is just like, I just think that's, I don't know, it's just unbeatable. Just to have like such a good team environment. So, yeah, I mean, that's all for me personally. For any questions. Alrighty, well, thank you, Kravi. Good job on your win. And you know what? I guess I can't wait to watch, you know, your team play a little bit more, a couple more games in the rest of this BPL season.
Yeah, we're looking forward to making it all the way to the grand finals, hopefully.
Hopefully, we'll see. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. So looks like, you know, these are the matches coming up for next week.
Sunday. That's
Sunday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, man.
Tomorrow.
It is Saturday. Then the next match is for tomorrow for A-League and C-League and B-League. We got all the leagues. Then we got tomorrow at 6 p.m. We got Pineapples versus Polaris, Frogs on Fire versus Campfire Song. 2 A-League games. You know, I think some of these could be pretty close. I would say the Primal Pineapples versus Polaris one, I think that might be a really good watch. I think that one could be really close.
I'm really excited for that game, especially because if anybody wasn't here for like the picking, Primal Pineapples picked Polaris because Primal Pineapples just believe that they're just flat out better than Polaris in that mirror matchup. So yeah. So I mean, like I that's definitely the game I'm gonna be watching out for personally, and then I have to play my own game right afterwards, and then yeah, 2 more, and then we have a B League game, Mothmania, which is the #1 seed. Overall for B League, playing against Birdwatch, which has definitely been a pretty strong contender as well. And then Goatman, who are the #2 seed, and then Bo, who just won their play-ins game to make it into the playoff bracket in a pretty convincing win as well. So definitely a ton more BPL action happening tomorrow, but that's it for today. So
shout out to Andrew on the Sojourn.
Midweek matches as well. Yeah, shout out to Andrew on the Sojourn, and then we got some other matches coming up later this week. We have the rest of the B League games on, for what it looks like, on Monday actually. So that's actually only in 2 days. So right after the Sunday games, because there's going to be way more. It's going to be those B League games, and then way later in the week on Thursday, it's going to be the Smokewolves versus Chungus Fungus game. So that's going to be the final round 1 playoff game here for A League this week, later this week. So. Definitely a lot of exciting stuff that will be going on
all week.
Yeah, all week there's gonna be, there's gonna be a game. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's gonna be a game. But yeah, but that's all I really have for this series. Cryptic guys, they were able to finish off a nice victory, 3-1 against the Maron Mallows. So.
Yep, and you know what? There's still a lot more playoffs to be had later on in this week. So, but that will be it for today. I'm pretty sure this was the only game. So yeah, I mean, if you don't have anything else to say, then you know what?
I don't know.
I guess yeah. If that's it, then goodbye, everyone. Have a fantastic night, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more BPL action.
We got nowhere to be, just a slow dance with the summer heat. The world outside can't wait a few, 'cause right now we got nothing else to do. The sun is peeking through the cotton white blinds, your hands still tangled up in mine. Feet on the wall, your head on me, floating easy. We got nowhere to be, got nowhere to be. Your hair's a mess, but you don't mind. You just laugh, let it fall where it lies. Coffee's cold, but we take a sip, talk about nothing. Let the morning slip. Oh, it feels like that, like summer air through window cracks. Oh, it feels like that, like summer sun on